time for the BS Sports Show. We want to hear from you, so call us on the BS line. Now here's Billy Elvis and the BS Sports Show.
All right, once again on the Wrigley Field Bar and Grill, we launched this brand new BS Sports Show on Monday from this very location, and we'll be back out again on Monday this coming week as well for week number, what should we say, 2.0. Well, yeah, let's go 2.0. That's 121st century. Mo Time at Mo Radio Show. My new co-host. I'm at Billy Elvis at BS Sports Fantasy Show, and it's always the original weekend starter party out here at Wrigley Field Bar and Grill on Friday nights, where you get the awesome world-famous Singing Fish Buffet with tons of sides. All you can eat, $8.50 adults, $4 for kids. Mantra karaoke with Jake. Excellent grand prizes, including a $92 VIP party for you and your friends to use next Friday if you win it this Friday. And Halter Pool Tables gift card and a whole lot more. Plus Comets and Mad Ants tickets. And speaking of Comets and Mad Ants tickets, our first guest covers both the Comets and the Mad Ants for the Journal-Gazette. And we welcome to the show the one, the only Justin Cohn, who's probably already camped out in the press box up there at the War Memorial Coliseum. How you doing, Coney?
Yeah, I'm up here a mile up in the sky looking at the ice as we speak.
Hey, I got to tell you, Coney called me out a little bit. He's like, we're going right to it, Coney. Coney's like, hey, you know, it would have been nice to know about this show if you're using my likeness for the press release. And I'm like, hey, don't look at it as like you're promoting us, dude. We're promoting you, Justin Cohn. Very astute journalist with the Journal-Gazette.
It just gave me an opportunity to use the phrase "using my likeness." Like it made me sound like I was more important than I was.
And I want to point out that I put your likeness first in that whole list.
But no, I'm glad you guys are back, and appreciate you including my name amongst the many celebrity guests.
Well, you offer such valuable information to the show. You know, whether it's information on the Comets, whether it's information on the Mad Ants, whether it's your perspective on what's going on in the world in sports in general, or whether it's on great cartoon characters. Another test for Coney here. You know, this is Friday. It's Friday free-for-all show, so we're having fun. We're getting good. You got to do your Scooby-Doo right now for us, because I don't know that Mo's heard your Scooby-Doo. You got to do Scooby-Doo, Justin Cohn.
Wait, you're gonna make me do it? I'm next to Blake, and I'm next to the Indy Fuels broadcaster, and they want me to do a Scooby-Doo laugh. All right. Here we go.
And Bob Chase is over your shoulder.
No, well, he's not here yet. That would make it really awkward.
Is that not a killer Scooby-Doo?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And when Coney was in on the BS Sports Show, I think that was like the week or two before Christmas, and he did that. All of a sudden, we got Cartman calling in, and we got all these cartoon characters. It was awesome.
The show went off the rails that day, and it was awesome.
It
My hat's off to you, Mr. Cohn.
Well, that's usually my goal. You know, get up. That's what I try to do best.
All right, Coney, let's talk Comets first, since you're up there at the press box at the Coliseum. And I don't know why. I mean, it seems like a broad analytical statement here, but it seems like the Comets always start the weekend poorly and finish strongly. And I don't know if you've noticed that too. Why does it seem like the Comets always start the week or the weekend poorly and then finish real strong?
Well, I'd say that's kind of a microcosm of their whole identity. You know, sometimes they just get off to slow starts. And, you know, when push comes to shove and it gets to the third period and they have to kind of dig down, that's usually when they do it. And that's what we saw really in the last three games against teams that, you know, aren't very good and outplayed Fort Wayne in the first period or first two periods, and then kind of the light bulb went off in the third. So, you know, there's good and bad to that. I mean, it's good because, you know, when you can come out and get those victories when you're not at your best, you know, that's the sign of a good team. But, it's certainly not a good recipe for success to come out flat very often.
Is it tough with a new goalie in net? I mean, the guys have really relied on Nagel this year. He's been great for the Comets. Is it tough when you switch goalies like this with a call-up?
Well, I mean, there's familiarity with Roman Will. I mean, he's been here a bunch. I mean, they are different styles to me. I mean, the thing that I noticed the most is Will's going to give up a lot more rebounds than Nagel, so you have to be cognizant of that. But I think that this team has usually rallied whenever somebody has been called up, whether it's the goalie or somebody else, and adapted to that. So I think more than anything, you just don't want to, start taking your goalie for granted, because then when you lose them, like they have with Nagel, then things can fall apart. But I think they've done a pretty good job, no matter who's been at net, and they've used, 7 goalies or so this season. So, it's not a new theme for them, but sometimes you will see it with teams where the styles of goalies are very different. You might have a butterfly goalie, and you might have that rare goalie who's not these days, or one guy that's huge and another guy that's small, and sometimes you see some differences. But these guys are mostly the same. It's just the way they make their saves are a little bit different, and that Will just tends to give up more rebounds. But other than that, pretty similar.
Talking to Justin Cohn of the Journal-Gazette at Sports Icon on Twitter. When we were doing this show on Wednesday night, Coney, and I was out at the Coliseum, we were like, "Don't you do your show right now?" And I replied to you via text, "I am doing my show, and I'm also talking on the microphone between periods." But we got a text that night from someone asking who the Comet MVP was thus far at this point, as of the 27th of February 2015 for the season. I said, gosh, I don't know, man. Pistilli, Nagel, maybe even Schrocky. I mean, those were my 3 suggestions. Who do you think's the MVP for the K's at this point in the season?
Schrock. Really? Schrock?
Yeah. Well, no.
No offense, but no.
I should have added that qualifier. The qualifier with Schrocky is that they were missing him, and he brings that leadership aspect to the ice. Come on, don't bounce on Kaylee too bad here right now.
It's such a homer pick too.
I'm not bouncing on him, but I mean you're going pretty deep down the list on that question before I get to him.
Well, and another point I made with the Schrock suggestion is that think about last year when he was made captain. That's when their fortunes really turned around. Yeah, there were other things that happened as well. But when Gary Graham made Schrocky captain last year, things just were on the improve from then forward, and still are. So that was another reason I threw. Yeah, that was
it was a homer pick.
All right, it was a homer pick. I'm sorry. All right.
It was a homer pick.
In answer to your question, I would go Sadlowski. He's been the most consistent scorer. Yeah, I mean, he's been the most consistent scorer all season long. I mean, they would not be where they are without him. After that, I probably go Nagel and then Mbach. But, another guy that people won't talk about, and especially because he hasn't been here the last couple of weeks, is James Martin. I mean, he was their lone all-star. I mean, and you could tell immediately how much they missed him and Joey Leach when they got called up. So I would say those 4, Sadlowski and Mbach and Nagel and Martin.
Talking with Justin Cohn from the Journal-Gazette, covers the Comets and the Mad Ants. We talked with Reggie Hayes last night a little bit about the Will Sheehy situation. Has the Mad Ants found a trading partner yet for Will Sheehy?
Nothing yet, and that whole situation is just very odd. I don't think there's much of a market for him. I mean, look, they can say they want to trade him all they want, but there's got to be a market for him. So, eventually maybe they'll get, a draft pick, which in the D-League does not usually translate to a whole lot. I mean, just because, a 5th-round pick can be just as good as a 1st-round pick in that league. So I don't know how much of a market there is. I mean, the market for him would have been here just from a marketing point of view. So, we'll have to see. But, I think he's making
Tony,
a
I'll
mistake.
tell you this right now. I called him. called him out last night. I called him out and said, you know what? What is Will Sheehy griping about? Why would a Will Sheehy be griping about playing time? And I got to meet him, and I thought he was a great dude. But you're right. He's no Tony Mitchell. He's no Andre Emmett. He's no league MVP at this point. He's a guy that's just trying to make a name for himself, and to be whining about playing time. I think his head might have gotten a little swollen in his first few games with the Mad Ants. If he's whining about how many minutes he's getting, and that just kind of bothers me. And that's probably a great indicator for the Mad Ants that this is not a guy we want on this team to be a cohesive teammate. Because, we brought him because he's IU. Yeah, we brought him in because IU fans would probably come out and watch Will Sheehy play. But if he's going to be team poison, we don't want him.
Well, look, I'm pretty dialed in on this situation, but I mean, what his mindset is this. He came back, he played the first couple games, and they marketed the heck out of him being here. I mean, they had IU night,
right,
a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And then, after this big splash and getting his name everywhere and him playing pretty well, then they immediately bring in two other players of his position. Then they basically cut his playing time down to nothing. So I can see where his frustration would be. But, it's been 3 weeks. It's been a month.
Right.
You're a rookie. Give it time. See how it plays out. He doesn't have an understanding that in this league things change really quickly. And I really do think that they had a vision for keeping him here for multiple seasons. So in that respect, you're patient, but I do see a little bit of his side of where the frustration comes from. But you're in no position to be making demands. You're not going to end up in a better spot because of this. And dude, you were just playing in Montenegro before you came back here. So. I'm right there with you on most of it, but I do understand where the frustration comes from. But that being said, you just should have swallowed your pride and let it play out for a couple weeks and see what happens.
Right.
Did the Mad Ants see a bump in attendance with Will Sheehy doing the promotions around Indiana basketball and IU night with him? Was there a bump in attendance with Will Sheehy playing?
I mean, I'll tell you, the first night he was there, and it was on less than notice. The fans were chanting for him. And then the attendance has definitely been up the last couple games. I'm not going to say it's because of him. I mean, there's been some marketing things. He's been playing well. They've had some better dates. But, is it up a little bit because of him? I would say so. I can't give you scientific evidence to prove it, but, I think so.
The former team, the Fort Wayne Fury, had a lot of success having IU players on and around this team. Why have the Mad Ants not looked for that more?
I'll walk around and mingle a little bit.
They've had a good bunch of them. I think the better question is why haven't they had any Purdue players? What does that say? Or Notre Dame players? I mean, they've had. There's been some local college players. Frank Gaines out of IPFW had a great season in the league last year. I can see at the time why they didn't go after him. But, Reggie Hearn, I'm not sure if he's still sitting out there, but he was for a while. I mean, he's exactly the type of player they need. So, but, at the end of the day, you sign an IPFW player, an Indiana Tech player, that's not going to put butts in the seats. IU guys, Purdue guys, it might. But I think the philosophy is more than anything, winning games will affect those things. So that's pretty much what they focus on. And one other thing is, Will Sheehy may not like his playing time. Here's some perspective. The one NBA player on their roster has played less over the last two games than Will Sheehy did. You're talking about a first-round Bruno Caboclo, a first-round top 10 pick, didn't play in the last game. How does the Toronto Raptors feel? How does he feel? And Will Sheehy asking out.
Yeah, and like I said, I got to meet him. I want to put the finishing touches on this because you made some good points, too, as why he would rightfully be a little upset. But, I thought he was a nice guy. I liked him. He was friendly when he was in our studio for the BS Sports Show a few weeks ago. This just seems like, hey, dude, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? You need to sit back and take stock into where you're at and what you're trying to accomplish, man. And being whiny is going to get you nowhere. All right, Coney, I want to say to this, man. Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey, would you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, but you know what?
Thank
a little
you.
bit. I've always. What, you wouldn't? Billy's not a fan?
Well, I'm not. No. See, everybody assumes that I mean I wouldn't. No. I just know that there's some guys that are intimidated by girls that can put them in an armbar and put them in submission or just flat out kick their butts or in better shape than them. That's not me.
I like that.
If she would have me, I would be her kept man for life.
Oh, no. I'm completely the opposite. I'm all and I'll tell you, I'm actually kind of glad you asked me about that, because I'm actually really intrigued with that fight, because I don't know if you know anything about her. She's got a really interesting backstory, and I'm kind of conflicted on who to root for.
Ooh, really? What's the backstory, real quick, Coney?
I mean, look, she's a single mother, and her husband suicide, and she was basically done with all this and fell off the map, and now she's kind of doing it more just to make a living. So like the typical, single mom, that's her job. It happens to be MMA, and very anti-Rousey in the glitz and glamour type of stuff. So they're both very interesting people.
Yeah. Well, that's tomorrow night. And by the way, UFC fights can be caught right here at Wrigley Field Bar and Grill, as is the WWE, and of course that big money Mayweather versus Pacquiao fight coming up on May 2nd. So if Wrigley can't find your game, no one can. All right, Coney, we'll let you get back to the comments. I know that he's getting ready to face off here in the next 15, 20 minutes. So have a great night. We got to have you out here with us one of these nights at Wrigley and have you on the show again soon, pal.
Yeah, definitely. Unlike when you were in the studio, I could actually get food there.
Yeah, we could feed you. All right, Justin Cohn at Sports Icon on Twitter. We'll keep track of what you've got on the Twitterverse there with regard to the Comet game tonight while we're here at the Original Weekend Starter Party, man. Have a great weekend, buddy.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, we're going to get a break in. What do you think, man? You got some spin dip and chips. Is that health food for you, dude?
How is spinach not healthy?
I don't know.
It helped Popeye.
When you put a bunch of cheese in it and some grease and then some, salty corn chips, I think you've diminished the health factor of the spinach.
How do we know that it wasn't spin dip in those cans that Popeye was eating? He ate it too fast. We didn't know.
You're right. You're absolutely. And if Popeye came out today, he'd be eating spin dip and chips. It wouldn't be a can of spinach.
If you look up one of the televisions now here at Wrigley, they're doing the weigh-in for the UFC fight.
That's why, and that's exactly why I threw the would you.
And if there was ever a time that you even doubted Ronda Rousey,
I'm telling you, it's not about the fact that she's hot or not. I think that you'd be a blind man if you didn't think she was hot, if she wasn't physically attractive. And there is something cool about the fact that she could kick most people on the planet. But
I might debate doing Jay Glazer just to get to Ronda Rousey. Good Lord, is she hot.
I just think that there's some guys that are intimidated by the chick that can kick your ass.
Well, see, it's nice. When everybody can kick your ass, you're not intimidated by that. It makes it easier that way.
I don't like to associate with too many people that can kick my ass unless I need them to protect me.
Well, you've got a lot of people in your motorcycle club, I'm sure, that could kick your ass.
I know.
And they're all scary looking.
They're all here.
I know. I'm moving right on over to the other side of the room.
We're here at Wrigley Field Bar and Grill. It's the Original Weekend Square Party, but it's also a Friday edition. Wrap up week number 1 of this newly revamped BS Sports Show. He's at Mo Radio Show. I'm at Billy Elvis at BS Sports The Fan. And you can call us if you want to chime in on the show. BS phone line is 347-324-5252. That's 347-324-5252. Or you can text us at 260-245-1898. That's 260-245-1898. Back in just a couple minutes, taking a break. Live from Wrigley Field Bar and Grill, it's the BS Sports Show.
Okay, so what do you have?
Ryan, what do you think?
Lollygag, it ain't for leaders. They're too busy making plays happen, answering the call, earning their big boy pants. Isn't it time to be the leader you were born to be? The playbook's right there, Captain. What's the call?
We'll have nachos, fried pickles, pretzels, buffalitos, honey barbecue wings, and waters all around.
Grab a seat. The game is on.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Ugh, I hate these big-ass prices.
Sounds like you could use some big-ass savings.
I'd love some big-ass savings.
Kmart Shop Your Way members save 30 cents a gallon.
30 cents a gallon? That's a big-ass discount.
Big-ass discount.
A really big-ass discount.
Really big-ass discount.
Honey, this solves your big-ass problem.
Totally solves my big-ass problem.
Dad, look at that big-ass truck.
And big-ass man.
Hello, big-ass man.
Shop Your Way members get big-ass savings. Save 30 cents a gallon when you spend $50 or more at Kmart.
Meet the fuel-efficient Ford Focus. Along with great handling, the Focus also comes with Girls' Night Out, and Girls' Night In, and road trips, and the scenic route, and swimming, and weekly car washes, and making connections, and unexpected speed dating. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more. With so many ands, where will you end up? The fuel-efficient Ford Focus.
This is Gary Snyder from The Gary Snyder Show, and I have a couple of important questions for you. Do you need some extra cash, and do you have any scrap metal laying around? If you answered yes to either question, which we know you did after all, this is Indiana, then you need to give Clark's a call today, 260-356-8314. That's 260-356-8314. Clark's wants all of your scrap metal, broken down appliances, old cars, computer parts, copper, aluminum, and even your old cell phones. If it's scrap and if it's metal, Clark's wants it, and they will pay top dollar for it. Clark's is located at 100 Heightsfield Street in Huntington, and they are open weekdays from 8 to 4:30 p.m. Or just give them a ring, 260-356-8314. That's 260-356-8314. Clark's, they want all of your scrap metal.
Chapman's Brewing Company is Northeast Indiana's newest microbrewery. Located in Angola, Indiana, Chapman's is what it means to be local. Chapman's recently launched their American Ale Cider that is a unique combination of malted barley, Cascade hops, and fresh apple juice that appeals to both beer drinkers and cider lovers alike. It is truly more than a beer and more than a cider. 3 sips and you'll understand why we love it too. Visit chapmansbrewing.com for a retailer nearest you.
More than just a show. It's life itself. It is everything.
It's the BS Sports Show.
Welcome back to the BS Sports Show. Thanks for listening today. We do appreciate it. Find us online anywhere that you want to listen, all of the updates, all the Twitter stuff, and you can listen live right there on that front page, or listen to any of the previous shows by going to the bssportshow.com. You can find us on Twitter at bssportsthefan, at Billy Elvis, and at MoTime, or if you want to write these down, or you can remember them, or you can go to the webpage, to the contact us page to get these. But you want to get on the BS line, 347-324-5252. 347-324-5252. Hey, we are live at Wrigley Field Bar and Grill in Georgetown North. It's the original weekend starter party, the Fort's best damn sports bar for over a quarter of a century now. Karaoke going on out here tonight, the awesome buffet, plus lots of great prizes. You still got time to get out here. We'll be out here till 9 o'clock tonight. You can be a part of this all night long. Sing karaoke, win some big prizes, get in on and watch tons of sports. We have basketball on. We've got the weigh-ins for the UFC fight coming up this weekend, where Ronda Rousey is headlining this card. And man, oh man, the sad thing about it is it doesn't look like you ever get to see a very long Ronda Rousey fight. And I don't know if this one is either. You heard Justin Cohn in the last segment tell you that there's a very interesting backstory to her opponent coming up. A single mom, husband has died, and she's continued to fight after she thought about walking away from it in order just to pay the bills. It was a very interesting story, a little bit different from the stardom of Ronda Rousey, who is a girl who's appeared in movies now, television shows, and could arguably be the most popular fighter in UFC. So it'll be interesting to watch that fight tomorrow night. The pay-per-view business, though, is it hurt now? Because it's one of those things where you can see so much UFC on television for free. Is there a reason that you might get tired of it and like, hey, you know what? I'll wait and see what happens before I invest myself into some pay-per-view. So we'll see it coming up tomorrow night. If you want to watch that UFC fight, you can do so right here at Wrigley Field tomorrow night. It'll be on the televisions if you want to come check out the UFC. Another thing you could do tonight is come by here and watch that Pacers-Cavs game.
Yeah.
Which for people who are at the game, I think they're going to be pretty disappointed when they get there and find out that there's no Kyrie Irving and no LeBron James tonight in Indianapolis.
You know, that bothers me a little bit, and I'll tell you why. It hits a little close to home for one thing, because I set up someone very special in my life with some tickets for her son to go see LeBron James play.
Right.
And I had the access to the Pacers tickets, you know, and got him the tickets for tonight. And now we find out LeBron's not playing. Kyrie was one thing. All right, okay, so no Kyrie, that's fine. At least you get to see King James play. And now James not playing for an undisclosed. This is a rest game. This is a rest game for LeBron.
Resting his back injury. You know, you do have to give it to LeBron. He played pretty damn hard last night and almost single-handedly took the Cavaliers to that win last night. He wasn't getting a lot of help from a lot of other places.
No.
But this is the problem that the Pacers are going to have this year because of where they're at. Because there's no Paul George right now. You're going to get to a point to where you have the big stars rest. We saw it with Steph Curry last Sunday. We're seeing it now with LeBron James. Because they prepare now to take on these tougher teams. You're going to see people rest the big names against the Pacers.
Yeah, you know what? You got ahead of me there, because I was going to say the same thing, because not only did I hook up my girlfriend's son with tickets to see LeBron play tonight, and he's not playing.
Right.
But a good friend of ours, somebody we know very well that I've worked with for a while, D.C. Hendricks, he was dying to go see that Golden State game on Sunday, and that's the only game thus far this season that Steph Curry has not played. Can you believe that? So now I'm 0 for 2.
Well, the problem is, it looks like, is that there's that, you know, a lot of teams that are playing that Cleveland, Chicago, especially the teams coming from out west. And where would you rest your big players if you're going to?
Well, and I get it. It was an important kind of a statement game for their own psyche and their own development last night to take care of business, to keep the win streak in front of the home crowd going. 11 wins now in a row after that win over Golden State last night. That was far more important to the Cavs than playing a Friday night game the next day against the Pacers. And even if the MRI was, you know, the most positive MRI you can get on Kyrie Irving's shoulder, he wasn't going to fly to Indiana today to play the Pacers. That game means nothing to them. And I'm not trying to discredit the Pacers either, because they've done as fine a job as anybody overcoming adversity, overcoming the loss of Lance Stevenson and Paul George and the other injuries that they've had to endure to be where they are in the first place, to be in contention for a playoff spot. But no, it's not like the same mindset is, okay, we're taking on the Golden State Warriors, we're taking on the Atlanta Hawks, we're taking on the Chicago Bulls, we're taking on the Houston Rockets. No, that's not the mindset for these guys. So I understand it, and you know, it goes back to the old saying that the regular season isn't anything like the playoffs. When the playoffs roll around, guys go out there injured. Guys go out there and play through pain. Guys go out there and just absolutely make sure they play a basketball game. You know, I have a feeling that a lot of it has to do, as far as LeBron's concerned, is that it's a busy weekend. It's playing at home against Golden State on Thursday and then having to travel to Indiana to play the Pacers on Friday. The NBA scheduling. It's too demanding of a schedule. I don't think we're ever going to see a time, and I know LeBron's been very outspoken about saying that the season should be a little shorter. I don't think we're going to see him play less than 82 games in a season. But they definitely can do a better job of trying to make sure these guys don't play 4 games in 5 nights.
I agree, but I don't have a problem with the back-to-backs when they're close, like this one is. Here's the problem, and I argued this problem with one of my friends who covers the NBA. that Greg Popovich has started a bad scenario resting your big-name players because it's not fair. And he's based out of Philadelphia. It's not fair to the fans of the Pacers. It's not fair to the fans of Philadelphia because they're having to watch this stuff the 76ers put on the floor, and they're not getting the big names because everybody's sitting when they go to Philadelphia. A lot of the big names are sitting when they come to Indiana. And what kind of a mind F is it to the Pacers if you beat Golden State, minus Steph Curry, you get whooped up by Oklahoma City with Russell Westbrook, and then LeBron and Kyrie don't play, and you're able to beat the Cavaliers. Does that mess with the psyche of the Pacers a little bit?
No, it doesn't. As a matter of fact, they're the only ones that are happy about the situation. They're the only ones that are happy about the fact that Golden State comes to town, and the only game that Steph Curry doesn't play so far this season is against you. So you can chalk up a W when the W's are important. No, it doesn't matter to them. They don't care about beating the best right now. They care about being cohesive and chalking up as many victories as they can. It does matter to that guy who spends his hard-earned cash on a pair of tickets or a 4-pack of tickets because he knows LeBron James is coming into town on Friday, February 27th, and LeBron doesn't play for a stupid reason.
Or at least don't wait till 5 o'clock to announce LeBron's not playing. Announce it last night and let us, get that
scalp the tickets.
Yeah, a chance to dump them. Because it is not fair. And I've been to a couple of games like that where the big names haven't played. Driving as a Cubs fan, driving to Chicago to see the Cubs play a few years ago, they had very few big-name players. When you go up there on a Sunday, take your family, and your two favorite players sit, it's a pain in the ass.
Well, and this goes back to the old statement that it's too long of a season or they play too many games in back-to-back nights because these guys should play all year. They should play every game they can. And there's not a reason for LeBron to play tonight. There just isn't a reason for LeBron to play tonight against the Pacers. That's not fair to the fans of LeBron, fans that wanted to see a cool matchup, fans that wanted to see the Cavs at their best, take on the Pacers at their best, that spent hard-earned money to go to the Fieldhouse to see a game tonight. And like I said, my example hit so close to home because I hooked up my girlfriend's son for Christmas with a gift for him to see LeBron in action, and he doesn't get to see LeBron in action, so his Christmas is ruined because of LeBron James being selfish and not playing tonight against the Pacers.
Well, if I'm David Blatt, I'm not playing LeBron either tonight, but it does stink because there's very few things to be positive about for the Pacers this year. This was one of them. In years past when the Pacers have not been good, you would see the Fieldhouse still up when Kobe came to town, or when LeBron came to town, or when Spurs came to town. Then they learned quickly not to go buy tickets when the Spurs come to town. You can go to that game now, and it's like an empty arena game because people know that Greg Popovich, when this team's bad, they're not playing their stars. And it's sad, and I feel bad. That's one of the reasons I didn't want to go to this game because they played twice there this month, the Cavs have. And usually the second time against a bad team, you're not going to see LeBron.
Yeah, and I guess part of it also goes to the fact that, it's not necessarily, the Cavaliers' fault that they can afford to not play LeBron tonight, knowing that Kyrie's not going to play either, because the Pacers aren't that formidable right now. If this was last year, LeBron's playing this game tonight, especially since Kyrie's not playing tonight, because LeBron's thinking to himself, this could be an Eastern Conference Finals preview.
Well, here's the problem, too. I think he figured this out last year when he had to play all those extra minutes because Dwayne Wade sat so much. It got to a point at the end of the year, and we saw it in the finals, where LeBron ran out of gas. There was another problem with Ray Allen. Ray Allen ran out of gas because those two guys had to pick up so many minutes from Dwayne Wade, and LeBron ran out of gas in the finals. And I think this is smart for him to sit. For the Cavaliers, this is smart for LeBron to sit tonight. For Pacers fans or fans of LeBron who aren't in Cleveland, who drove to see him tonight, it sucks.
All right, we're going to take a break. We are doing a Friday edition of the BS Sports Show. It's Monster Karaoke with Jake out here, part of the weekend starter party festivities at Wrigley Field Bar and Grill in Georgetown North. Feels like the singer's right in my ear right now.
Hey, why is it as we set up a chair for one of the Derby girls to join us, they always sit next to you? Damn you, Billy Elvis. Damn you.
I showered today.
All right. You got me there.
Straight from work.
You got me there.
And you're scarfing down spin dip and chips.
Shut up.
Getting the break in. Thanks for tuning in. Back in just a couple minutes. It's the BS Sports Show.
Okay, so what do you have?
Ryan, what do you think?
Lollygag, it ain't for leaders. They're too busy making plays happen, answering the call, earning their big boy pants. Isn't it time to be the leader you were born to be? The playbook's right there, Captain. What's the call?
We'll have nachos, fried pickles, pretzels, buffalitos, honey barbecue wings, and waters all around.
Grab a seat. The game is on.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Ugh, I hate these big ass prices.
Sounds like you could use some big ass savings.
I'd love some big ass savings.
Kmart Shop Your Way members save 30 cents a gallon.
30 cents a gallon? That's a big ass discount.
Big ass discount.
A really big ass discount.
Really big ass discount.
Honey, this solves your big ass problem.
Totally solves my big ass problem.
Dad, look at that big ass truck.
And big ass man.
Hello, big ass man.
Shop Your Way members get big gas savings. Save 30 cents a gallon when you spend $50 or more at Kmart.
Meet the fuel-efficient Ford Focus. Along with great handling, the Focus also comes with Girls Night Out and Girls Night In and road trips and the scenic route and swimming and weekly car washes and making connections and unexpected speed dating. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more. With so many ands, where will you end up? The fuel-efficient Ford Focus.
This is Gary Snyder from The Gary Snyder Show, and I have a couple of important questions for you. Do you need some extra cash, and do you have any scrap metal laying around? If you answered yes to either question, which we know you did after all, this is Indiana, then you need to give Clark's a call today, 260-356-8314. That's 260-356-8314. Clark's wants all of your scrap metal, broken down appliances, old cars, computer parts, copper, aluminum, and even your old cell phones. If it's scrap and if it's metal, Clark's wants it, and they will pay top dollar for it. Clark's is located at 100 Heightsfield Street in Huntington, and they are open weekdays from 8 to 4:30 p.m. Or just give them a ring, 260-356-8314. That's 260-356-8314. Clark's, they want all of your scrap metal.
Chapman's Brewing Company is Northeast Indiana's newest microbrewery. Located in Angola, Indiana, Chapman's is what it means to be local. Chapman's recently launched their American Ale cider that is a unique combination of malted barley, Cascade hops, and fresh apple juice that appeals to both beer drinkers and cider lovers alike. It is truly more than a beer and more than a cider. 3 sips and you'll understand why we love it too. Visit chapmansbrewing.com for a retailer nearest you.
This is a bad show. They worked really hard, and it didn't make it good. It's the BS Sports Show.
We're having ourselves one heck of a great time. It's Friday night, original weekend starter party. Jake and karaoke up and running till 11 tonight, as is the case every Friday here at the Fort's Best Damn Sports Bar. Of course, we're out here on Mondays and Fridays, bookending the weekend with the BS Sports Show here at the Fort's Best Damn Sports Bar. Why wouldn't we be at the Fort's Best Damn Sports Bar for 2.5 decades, right, brother?
Makes sense. I mean, if you think about it, it really makes sense.
More than 50 TVs and big screens and HD TVs to catch all the sports action, no matter what's going on in the world of sports. They got it here at Wrigley Field Bar and Grill. I am happy to say that we've got our friends from the Fort Wayne Derby girls in attendance again tonight.
We do.
I wasn't expecting a visit from the ladies tonight, but Geisha number 6 is here. How you doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing good.
So give me a recap. How were the first Coliseum bouts last Saturday night?
Oh, it was great.
You guys were dominant.
It wasn't even close.
We won. Great teamwork, great communication, and we kicked some butt.
So when something like that happens, where you guys last week, where you just dominated a team like that, what were they doing so wrong?
It's just really, it's our teamwork and communication. It just, like I said, it has to do with communication. I mean, we played more plays. We communicated our pivot, told us what to do. We got there, and we were our hard hitters. Like a lot of the girls, like Oriole, Lambert, she hits hard. We were knocking those girls out.
I would imagine that you guys are a bit faster than them as well. Better skaters came into play a little bit too.
Our ranking is a little bit higher than theirs. Our ranking is higher.
Now, I've never been to a match where I've seen jammers score more points at one time. Holy crap, your jammers were amazing last week.
Yes. Pushy. We have girls, they have a lot of strength. They can push through those girls. They're fast.
Now, I had a couple people ask me, how do you get a penalty in roller derby? What do you do to get a penalty?
Throwing elbows. We are not allowed to throw elbows. High block, low block.
How many penalties have you had over your career? Have you been to the penalty box a lot for throwing elbows? You look like a girl can throw some elbows.
Oh, man, I do. I've thrown a lot of elbows. I had like 6 the last bout.
That's awesome.
All right, so you guys basically see them bouts every month. When are the March bouts?
I think it's the 28th.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. You can go to fwderbygirls.com, get all the details about their upcoming schedule and what's going on. All right, here's tough chicks like right now.
Cute though, and I don't mind being a kept man. I'm okay with it.
I mean, to me, I think guys should be like, hey, my girl's tough.
Right.
Watch her. Watch what she can do.
What's the normal line for a guy when you can tell that he's intimidated at the fact that you're a derby girl?
I don't know. My ex used to say to me, I don't know, he just used to be really competitive and always try to beat me at everything. And he would not give me credit for every time I would be better at any sport. You know what I mean?
Billy, maybe we figured it out. Maybe it's the competitive thing that is what gets guys. Do you think that's it? This is a competitive thing.
I mean, how do you think a guy feels when a girl can throw a football further than he can?
We never touched on that.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm starting to see the light a little bit now.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see the light.
Yeah, and that's because you got a female perspective. You know?
I think you're right.
I was trying to tell, every time I brought it up, every time I try to say that there are probably a faction of American men, or even worldwide men, that Ronda Rousey probably doesn't even look feminine to him, even though she's beautiful.
Right.
Beautiful.
Right.
She may not look feminine because she kicks butt for a living.
I wonder, any guy that dates her, I wish I could see what he's like.
Yeah, is he a little mousy little dude? Is he like a guy that...
When you say that.
Is he a guy that carries her purse?
I would carry her purse.
Is he in the gym a lot?
I would change my last name to hers if I had to.
Right?
All right. Well, I just wanted to have a little fun with that topic because it's a good one. And not, I didn't mean it to sound sexist either. But it is a sexist world. There's still that faction of guys that want their girls to be soft and pretty and dainty.
You know
but
what?
girls can be tough, man.
Right, but you know what I have to do sometimes?
What?
When I was with my boyfriend, I used to have to act like I couldn't open the jar of pickles and ask him to open it. So make that feel better.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, Mo. This is exactly what I'm talking
notice
about.
She said X.
Yeah, I know. She wisely moved on from this schlep.
I will carry your purse if you want me to. I have no problem. I'll change my name to Mocation number 6. I have no problem. No problem with that whatsoever.
Mocation number 6, thanks for hanging out with us. Much appreciated.
You're welcome.
Keep doing what you do with the Fort Wayne Derby Girls because it's awesome, darling. Go to fwderbygirls.com. Find out about the next bouts and the remaining bouts of this season for your Fort Wayne Derby Girls and what they're up to and what they're all about. And they're all about giving back to the community. Over $110,000 in money is raised for local charities, including women and children's charities, via your Fort Wayne Derby Girls, including the one sitting right between Mo and I right now, Nation number 6. Stick around, taking a break live from the Weekend Better Party Wrigley Field Bar and Grill. It's the BS Sports Show.
Okay, so what do you have?
Ryan, what do you think?
Lollygag, it ain't for leaders. They're too busy making plays happen, answering the call, earning their big boy pants. Isn't it time to be the leader you were born to be? The playbook's right there, Captain. What's the call?
We'll have nachos, fried pickles, pretzels, buffalitos, honey barbecue wings, and waters all around.
Grab a seat. The game is on.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Ugh, I hate these big ass prices. Sounds like you could use some big ass savings.
I'd love some big ass savings.
Kmart Shop Your Way members save 30 cents a gallon.
30 cents a gallon? That's a big-ass discount.
Big-ass discount.
A really big-ass discount.
Really big-ass discount.
Honey, this solves your big-ass problem.
Totally solves my big-ass problem.
Dad, look at that big-ass truck.
And big-ass man.
Hello, big-ass man.
Shop Your Way members get big gas savings. Save 30 cents a gallon when you spend $50 or more at Kmart.
Meet the fuel-efficient Ford Focus. Along with great handling, the Focus also comes with Girls Night Out and Girls Night In and road trips and the scenic route and swimming and weekly car washes and making connections and unexpected speed dating. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more. With so many ands, where will you end up? The fuel-efficient Ford Focus.
This is Gary Snyder from The Gary Snyder Show, and I have a couple of important questions for you. Do you need some extra cash, and do you have any scrap metal laying around? If you answered yes to either question, which we know you did after all, this is Indiana, then you need to give Clark's a call today, 260-356-8314. That's 260-356-8314. Clark's wants all of your scrap metal, broken down appliances, old cars, computer parts, copper, aluminum, and even your old cell phones. If it's scrap and if it's metal, Clark's wants it, and they will pay top dollar for it. Clark's is located at 100 Heightsfield Street in Huntington, and they are open weekdays from 8 to 4:30 p.m. Or just give them a ring, 260-356-8314. That's 260-356-8314. Clark's, they want all of your scrap metal.
Chapman's Brewing Company is Northeast Indiana's newest microbrewery. Located in Angola, Indiana, Chapman's is what it means to be local. Chapman's recently launched their American Ale Cider that is a unique combination of malted barley, Cascade hops, and fresh apple juice that appeals to both beer drinkers and cider lovers alike. It is truly more than a beer and more than a cider. 3 sips and you'll understand why we love it too. Visit chapmansbrewing.com for a retailer nearest you.
They actually said that on the air, and they weren't kidding around.
It's the BS Sports Show.
Welcome back to the BS Sports Show. Thanks for joining us tonight. We are live at Wrigley Field Bar and Grill in Georgetown North. It's the original weekend starter party. You want to be a part of the show, you can on the phone, the BS line, 347-324-5252. 347-324-5252. You can text us as well, or just head over to the website, thebsportshow.com. All those links are there. It's been a pretty fun night so far. Justin Cohn from the Journal-Gazette joined us on the phone live from the War Memorial Coliseum at the Fort Wayne Comets game. Also, Geisha number 6 from the Fort Wayne Derby Girls is here as well. Quite the picture taker she is. You still got time to come out and join us. We'll be here until 9 o'clock, just getting towards the end of the first hour. And, maybe the argument last night was a little bit and maybe I'm starting to see Billy's side of it. Now, you keep bringing up throwing the football better. You and your ex, evidently you can throw a football pretty damn far. Do I want to go outside and throw a football with you?
You can, but I guarantee you I can probably throw as far as you or further, I'm telling you.
How far can you throw a football?
I'd say over half the field, a football field. I can
throw about 70 yards.
Yeah, I do that. I'm telling you.
Damn it. What about arm wrestling? Are you good at that?
You know what? Back in the day, I used to do that all the time back in high school, and I used to kick butt. But I'm doing that because I got scared because I was watching so many stuff on TV that I seen them break their elbows. That scared me.
Billy and I are going to be at an arm wrestling event tomorrow at Break and Run. You should come out and win for us. We'll sponsor you.
Really?
That's what we should do. You know what, Billy? We should sponsor her tomorrow in the event, the arm wrestling event.
There's really an arm wrestling?
Yeah.
Wow.
World Arm Wrestling League tournament tomorrow. Break and Run, 2 o'clock. You should be there. You really should.
We should sponsor her. We make her the BS entrance.
Yeah, absolutely. I got my money on Geisha.
Me too.
You're our Ronda Rousey. Because you know what? I'll tell you why you're our Ronda Rousey. Because you're gorgeous.
Yeah.
You're stunning.
Yeah.
And I think you could probably kick both our butts. You know, if we
You know what?
If we took you out at the same time, you'd probably kick our both butts.
Oh yeah.
I have a friend that does MMA, and I told him I wanted to, but the only reason why I can't is because my eyebrows are drawn on, and I can't do it.
You don't want to get your eyebrows punched off?
Right, I can't do that.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that argument ever.
We can use a Sharpie so they're on permanent if you want.
Well, see, I won't be able to line them up, and what if they're not symmetrical? That might be a problem.
All right, wait. All right, now, this is something that doesn't happen very often on the BS Sports Show. Matter of fact, I don't think it's ever happened, nor will it ever happen again. So we're going to have this conversation right now.
Okay.
Why do you pluck your eyebrows completely gone and then draw them back on?
Look, you see my arms? Do I have arm hair?
You're pretty hairless.
Exactly.
That's an Asian trait, isn't it?
Yes. Well, I do have eyebrows, okay? I do have eyebrows, but they're so light that you can't see them.
You got to add to it so you have.
So I started coloring them, and then after I started coloring them, I started just drawing them. That's my challenge, like in Derby.
So let me ask you. So when you're out there and you're skating, and you start sweating and stuff.
I wear a bandana.
Okay, so your eyebrows are covered with the bandana.
Yeah. No, my eyebrows are not covered. I just wear a bandana so I don't.
So you don't sweat, and so the eyebrows don't drip in your eyes.
You can ask all the girls. I have the quickest reflex ever. That way, no one can high block me and take an eyebrow out. I'd be so upset if my eyebrow
out.
I'd be so mad if my eyebrow got stuck in someone's jersey.
So if I ask you a question you had to think about, would you have to stop real quick and draw on like a curious eyebrow look?
You know what? The girls told me just to not put on any eyebrows and put the eyebrows on my helmet.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I can't do that.
That'd be awesome. You know, I've had to draw on eyebrows before too because somebody shaved them while I was sleeping. So I feel you.
Have you thought about the eyebrow tattoo thing? I mean, there's the tattoo lip liner.
Right.
Tattoo eyebrows.
I've thought about it, but I'm scared. What if they do it and it's not symmetrical, or what if they make me look angry?
Yeah.
But then,
or they give you the big bushy unibrow thing. You don't want that going.
By mistake, and I'm scared, but I might try because being in sports is hard. I played volleyball with my friend the other day, and this ball hit me right in the forehead, and I was like, oh my god, my eyebrow's still on. I played soccer and I got hit in the face with the ball. I looked at my teammate and I'm like, are my eyebrows still there?
This is such an amazing conversation. I love this conversation because we've talked more about eyebrows than Mo and I have probably thinking about our eyebrows our entire lives.
It's hard being a woman.
Have you really thought about your eyebrows?
It's hard being a woman. Yeah.
It is.
It is hard. Does the medic on your team, does he keep an eyebrow pencil in there?
You know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I keep one in my sock.
That's awesome. Do you have one right now?
No, because I'm not playing
When
sports.
she's skating?
Oh, I just wondered.
I'm skating.
I keep one in mine. I was just curious. I was the only one.
I usually put my hair up in a bun using the eyebrow pencil. So I have it on me.
Have you ever drawn on the Rocks people's eyebrow?
No.
No.
This is radio gold right here. This is just absolute radio gold. Get behind the plight of the female in sport.
People wonder how.
The eyebrow issue.
They wonder why I play sports with drawn on eyebrows. I love playing sports, but I can't help it. I'm Asian. I have barely any hair.
Do you hold up when you skate?
Not all. Mainly just eyeliner and eyebrows.
Yeah.
Because it's not. I don't want to wear all that stuff while I'm sweating.
Yeah. What's the other plight of a woman in sports? I mean, you guys can't wear thongs when you're playing. Well, I mean, what else is the problem in sports? I'm curious now. I mean,
They could wear thongs under their little skating skirts. Some do.
I'm just curious. They don't feel comfortable to me. I just wonder.
Well, not to you. Something on.
I used to have to wear one in sports. I was wondering if I found it. I fell for it for a year, but yeah. You guys, jock straps are uncomfortable. I was curious.
I don't think the straps go the same direction as the thong.
Well, it depends on who you are. I don't have a lot of ass back there. Sometimes they do. What's the worst injury you've seen in roller derby so far? Does it scare you after you've seen it that could happen to you?
One of our teammates, I think, broke her ankle because their wheels locked with someone else's.
Oh.
And no, it doesn't scare me.
But getting a broken elbow, arm wrestling scares you.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I won't be able to throw a football than a guy.
Yeah, that's her thing. That was Turner X's problem. She could throw a football so far, so much further than him.
You know what? When we first got together, he was catching the football with his chest. I'm like, you're catching like a girl. Why don't you catch with your hands? Why are you catching? Who uses their chest to catch a ball?
I
do.
I love this girl.
See, you're catching like a girl.
So they fit kind of good.
I love this girl.
I do too.
You have to catch with your hands.
Geisha number 6 of your Fort Wayne Derby girls. All right. One. I want to spend more time talking to you. This is your first year. You're second year. You're a second-year Derby girl. What was the biggest revelation? What did you go? Holy crap! This is some serious stuff. What happened that made you go? This is the real deal.
My first year, I'm more aggressive now.
Yeah.
Okay. But my first year, I was still learning.
Were you kind of timid playing?
Right. And we scrimmaged, I'm not sure against who, at Bell's, and this girl hit me so hard, I went flying. And she knocked the wind out of me. And I still didn't play that good my first year. Now, I'd say I'm very aggressive, and when I get out there, I will hit. I can knock girls bigger than me out.
Well, see, that's the football mentality. You deliver a hit so you don't get hit.
Right.
You don't let yourself be hit by delivering the hit.
It feels so good when you're stressed and have a bad day. Practice makes it okay. It's great. And then when you go out there, it's teamwork. We're aggressive, and it's just fun.
Here's another question, and I know the answer to this already. But what's your day job? What do you do? What do you do when you're not doing Derby? What's your job?
I work in quality.
Quality. Be more specific.
I work at a medical manufacturer, and I do quality inspections.
So she's got a really professional job where she works in the medical profession, and I'm sure you can't just drop your shoulder and push somebody into the wall when they upset you. Therefore, you've got Derby to blow off steam from life, right?
Oh, yes.
And that's what it's all about.
I have a lot of girls I hear come to practice. I'm like, I'm ready to hit. After a bad day, I'm telling you, Derby is a great sport, great exercise. It's stress reliever, I'm telling you. Love it.
I know I promised you that I wouldn't throw you under the bus, which you wouldn't know the answer to. But how young do the Derby brats start, roughly?
I think 16 to 18, probably.
Okay, all right. So if you've got a daughter, if you've got a young lady in your life that has that pent-up aggression, that Derby would be a perfect fit for, go to fwderbygirls.com, find out about the Derby brats. That's kind of the inauguration for the young girls into what Derby is all about.
Yes.
So on nights when you don't have practice, how do you take out that aggression?
I'm sorry.
On nights when you don't have practice, what do you have to do when you want to hit somebody? I mean, do you need a tackling dummy? We'll volunteer.
Right? I have a boxing bag at home, and I have gloves.
Nice.
I do. That's why you see throwing elbows and getting in the penalty box.
See, Mo, this is coming back around to that whole Ronda Rousey conversation.
I know. Maybe I'm in the wrong, but I'm turned on by it. I'm scooting over a little bit.
You want to get your butt whooped, right?
I'm telling you, you look at some of these girls, they're pretty and they're petite, but they are tough. They are tough.
I tell you what, I'll give you an example. I've known Pussycat for 15 years.
She has great footwork. She just...
Yeah, I know. And she's petite.
Right.
She's sexy. She's not muscular, but she will kick your butt.
Yes. Yes.
And she's a tomcat.
Majestic. Have you seen Majestic?
Yes.
Little, and she can knock these girls out like it's nothing. It's crazy.
Before we go to break, Billy, since we're talking about Derby, a girl who was involved with the Derby brats tragically passed away this week. They're having a benefit for her tonight at the Bell's Skating Rink to help cover the funeral costs. So if you
Bell's in New Haven, right at 9:30.
10 to midnight.
10 to midnight.
Yep.
All right, that's a very cool thing. That's a sad story. So yeah, head out to Bell's.
And I'm going there right after this.
Yeah?
Me too.
All right.
Yes.
Me too.
All right. Well, hey. Great talking to you, Geisha. Thanks for coming out.
If they have a couple skater Rock and Robin, will you skate with me?
Yeah, but you got to be the woman.
That's fine.
Because she's way tougher than you.
I know my place. I'm cool with that. If you want to hit me, just knock me down. I'm cool with it. Whatever.
Want to thank our buddy Gary at IndianaTalks.com because we're about ready to sign off from that entity at this point in time. But we've got an hour left, unless we decide. Should we cut it short on Friday night, or should we keep this going to 9?
Oh, it's entirely up to you. Your name's first, show.
we'll keep the show going. Let's keep it going tonight. Continuity's a good thing.
Hey, and she's here. Why would we stop now? I mean, once the microphones are off, she won't sit as close to me anymore.
We just spent 10 minutes on eyebrows. We've got so much more application numbers to the four-wing derby girl.
Talk nails or something next.
Yeah. Stick around. It's a Friday edition of the BS Sports Show. Every Monday and Friday at Wrigley Field Bar and Grill in Georgetown, North Port's Best Damn Sports Bar. Live from 7 to 9, it's the BS Sports Show.
Okay, so what do you have?
Ryan, what do you think?
Lollygagging ain't for leaders. They're too busy making plays happen, answering the call, earning their big boy pants. Isn't it time to be the leader you were born to be? The playbook's right there, Captain. What's the call?
We'll have nachos, fried pickles, pretzels, buffalitos, honey barbecue wings, and waters all around.
Grab a seat. The game is on.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Ugh, I hate these big-ass prices.
Sounds like you could use some big-ass savings.
I'd love some big-ass savings.
Kmart Shop Your Way members save 30 cents a gallon.
30 cents a gallon? That's a big-ass discount.
Big-ass discount.
A really big-ass discount.
Really big-ass discount.
Honey, this solves your big-ass problem.
Totally solves my big-ass problem.
Dad, look at that big-ass truck.
And big-ass man.
Hello, big-ass man.
Shop Your Way members get big gas savings. Save 30 cents a gallon when you spend $50 or more at Kmart.
Meet the fuel-efficient Ford Focus. Along with great handling, the Focus also comes with Girls Night Out and Girls Night In and road trips and the scenic route and swimming and weekly car washes and making connections and unexpected speed dating. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more. With so many ands, where will you end up? The fuel-efficient Ford Focus.
This is Gary Snyder from The Gary Snyder Show, and I have a couple of important questions for you. Do you need some extra cash, and do you have any scrap metal laying around? If you answered yes to either question, which we know you did after all, this is Indiana, then you need to give Clark's a call today, 260-356-8314. That's 260-356-8314. Clark's wants all of your scrap metal, broken down appliances, old cars, computer parts, copper, aluminum, and even your old cell phones. If it's scrap and if it's metal, Clark's wants it, and they will pay top dollar for it. Clark's is located at 100 Heightsfield Street in Huntington, and they are open weekdays from 8 to 4:30 p.m. Or just give them a ring, 260-356-8314. That's 260-356-8314. Clark's, they want all of your scrap metal.
Chapman's Brewing Company is Northeast Indiana's newest microbrewery. Located in Angola, Indiana, Chapman's is what it means to be local. Chapman's recently launched their American Ale Cider that is a unique combination of malted barley, Cascade hops, and fresh apple juice that appeals to both beer drinkers and cider lovers alike. It is truly more than a beer and more than a cider. 3 sips and you'll understand why we love it too. Visit chapmansbrewing.com for a retailer nearest you.
It's the BS Sports Show.
You need to calm down. I mean, I'm not that excited about this show, and they pay me.
All right, we got another winner tonight here at the Weekend Show.
Welcome back to the BS Sports Show. We are live right now at Wrigley Field Bar and Grill in Georgetown North. Thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate it tonight. You can find us online at thebsportsshow.com online or on Twitter at BS Sports The Fan, at Billy Elvis, at Mole Radio Show. You want to be a part of the show, you can call in on the BS line. It's 347-324-5252, 347-324-5252 if you want to be a part of it. Don't forget the UFC fight tomorrow night will be on the TVs here at Wrigley Field. You can see Ronda Rousey in fight tonight. Fight tomorrow night live on pay-per-view here at Wrigley Field. Save yourself the money of ordering it at home and come out here with your friends and enjoy a great night tomorrow night. Plus, don't forget, coming up tomorrow as well, we're going to be out at Break and Run as we head to our buddy Cobra Rhodes with the World Arm Wrestling League event.
Yes, and my buddy, pal, my friend, mi amigo, He's one of the baddest individuals on the planet. But this is an event where there's still openings to participate in the World Arm Wrestling League. Now, this is an ESPN event,
right?
And this is big money,
right?
Big,
$500,000.
Yeah, yeah. So you think you got some game with the arm wrestling trade? You haven't done it yet, or maybe you have. Maybe you've competed before. Open entry tomorrow. With the event starting at 2, if you want to be a part of the open entry, get there well before 2 at Break and Run, Gateway Plaza, Goshen Road. But my buddy Cobra, my pal, he's such an awesome individual, man. And we both asked him the same question about Sylvester Stallone, because he was the consultant for the movie Over the Top, the movie about arm wrestling, like 20-some, maybe 30 years ago. When was that, in the mid-'80s?
Probably. I mean, it seems like an 80s movie.
Yeah, it's going like 30 years ago here now. But Cobra was a consultant for that movie and helped make sure Sly Stallone knew what an arm wrestler was supposed to do. And I remember reading about Sylvester Stallone with regard to the Rocky movies. And when he saw the first Rocky movie, even though it was a unbelievable, huge success, box office blockbuster, he's like, the fighting didn't look good enough for me, and it didn't look authentic enough for me. So Sylvester Stallone was very, very, very intrigued by the fact that you need to make it look authentic. So he brings in a world champion arm wrestler. The dude happens to live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. His name is Andrew Cobra Rhodes, and has him teach Sylvester Stallone how to look like a real arm wrestler. And I think that's an awesome story.
Well, the fact that he wanted to smack the kid that put his son too made me happy, because every time that I watch that movie and I see that little bastard, I wanted to smack him too. So the fact that I wasn't the only one who wants to smack the kid in the movie, that made me feel good.
Right. Hey, I think that little kid was on General Hospital, too. And don't ask me why I know the kid was on General Hospital. All right, so I was into General Hospital when Rick Springfield was on there.
How can I not ask after you say it?
I know, I had to answer the question. I started it. I got to finish it. It had to do with the kid being on General Hospital at the time. Rick Springfield was Dr. Noah Drake on General Hospital. What are we talking about? It's a sports show.
Hey, the LeBron-less Cavaliers right now listen to the Pacers in Indianapolis.
Good.
Down by 3 points as they near the end of the second quarter, almost halftime.
Good. And this is exactly what I told you before, Mo. When we brought this up, we've dealt with this now twice this week. Steph Curry missed a game. There was no injury.
No.
Steph wasn't hurt. Steph was getting some rest on a road trip. Because you know why? They had to play the Cavaliers last night, and they were on a road trip from the West Coast. So Steph took a break against the Pacers. And just like LeBron has no reason to sit tonight. He's not hurt. He can play tonight if he needed to play
resting
tonight.
His back.
Yeah, okay, he's resting his back. But you know what? The Pacers don't care. The fans care. Right. Those that spend their hard-earned cash on a pair of tickets for the Fieldhouse to see LeBron as a Cavalier wearing number 23 again care. Those that came from Cleveland to see LeBron play the Pacers care. Those that anybody that bought tickets cares. Who doesn't care? The Pacers don't care. They don't care that Steph Curry sits out for Golden State on Sunday, because now it's a better chance that they're going to get a W. Same thing tonight. They know not only do they not have to play Kyrie Irving, but they don't have to play LeBron either. Another W for the Pacers in their effort to chalk up some wins this season.
I don't know that I'd go that quick. J.R. Smith has played like a new man since he's gotten to Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
Amon Shumpert has played well. This will be a chance for Kevin Love to finally take charge of his team for a little bit. One cool thing about the game tonight, though, the Pacers have brought back the FloJo uniforms.
I know.
Back in
Reggie Miller days. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, who's been very impressive so far for the Pacers this year is Rodney Stuckey, the former Detroit Piston.
Love him. I love the guy.
He had 30 points a couple games in a row and had 14 points already in this first half. I think this guy who came on a one-year contract has definitely guaranteed himself a bigger payday and hopefully more time with the Pacers next year.
I liked Rodney last year because, the Pistons are abysmal. The Pistons, they're coming around a little bit. The Stan Van Gundy era just started this year, and he's making some shuffling and some moves to try to get his players in place. But before Stan Van Gundy got here, last year, the year before, the last 5 years have been abysmal. And it has absolutely sucked to be a Detroit Piston. And we're talking about a very, very proud franchise that's got some championships, that's got a great legacy. And it's been bad. But for now, you see this going on, and you say to yourselves, hey, Rodney Stuckey got a breath of fresh air by moving over to the Indiana Pacers, and I thought he would have a good run with those guys.
Well, you're playing with a coach now that he's actually heard the name of.
Exactly.
Tell me, who was finished the year as the Pistons coach last year? Because I have no idea. It started with Mo Cheeks, and he was fired quickly into the season.
Yeah.
And I know there was a push for Rasheed Wallace. Remember, there was a petition for Rasheed Wallace to become the coach.
I don't know. They're the lost years.
I don't either. That's what I'm saying.
They're the lost years. Since the 2006 championship with Chauncey and Rasheed and Tayshaun and those guys, they've been the lost years.
The other thing that makes no sense is why wouldn't they have given in these lost years Bill Laimbeer a chance to coach an NBA team? He did wonderful with the WNBA team. Why not, when you're hopeful, give Laimbeer a chance there and see what he's got?
I just think it simply comes back to the fact that he's a dick. I mean, he's a dick.
No, you're right. You're right.
He's a floppy, one-eyed wonder worm.
I went to an autograph signing where he was getting paid to be nice to fans and was still a dick.
Yeah, I know. That's Laimbeer, and he was that guy. He was that guy back in the day that if you were an opponent of the Pistons, you hated him. You wanted to hurt him.
Right.
But that was his role. He played that role. He was the villain.
At least you know it's authentic.
Yeah.
Because if he's still a dick, at least you know it's authentic.
Yeah, he was that wrestler that is supposed to be the villain. That was Laimbeer. And he relished in it, and he did it well. He got guys like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson to do uncharacteristic things.
Right? It's true. I mean, the guy played the role very well. And when you can take their number one guy out of a game because you can get in his head so much, that brings a ton to your team. Even if you're not scoring a ton of points, if you don't have a lot of rebounds, you get in the number one guy's head and get him off his game, well, hell yeah, you're going to be a very important player.
So, while it works very, very well to be a dick and to be on the basketball court and to be a part of a team, doesn't serve yourself to be a dick and be a head coach.
Well, it's true, but...
And I think we just set the record for dick on this radio show, by the way.
Possibly.
Speaking of dicks, I think a girl just came in with one on her forehead.
Yeah.
I think there's a bachelorette party happening here tonight.
Isn't it crazy what women will do and dress as a bachelorette party as opposed to what they'll wear in normal life?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they have no problem putting a strap-on their forehead like it's a proud banner of some sort. It's like, hey, honey, you got a strap-on your forehead.
That's scary for anybody. I feel bad for the guy marrying her right now.
Have you ever put a strap-on your forehead?
Well, once in prison, but that was by accident. We're talking about Bill Laimbeer, but look at some other guys who haven't got a chance. Why has Patrick Ewing never been a head coach?
I think he's also a dick.
I don't know. He's done a lot of great work though with a lot of big guys.
Didn't the Patrick Ewing era of the New York Knicks feel like the Carmelo Anthony era of the New York Knicks? A little bit too much. It's got to go through Patrick. Little selfishness, little narcissism.
Well, at least they went to an NBA Finals. I don't think they ever make it with Carmelo on that team.
Yeah, that's true.
You take a look at a guy like Kareem, who so badly wants to be a coach in the NBA. He seems like too much of a whiner. Almost. Not that he's a jerk, but he seems like almost too much of a whiner.
Yeah.
And he's the guy that had to whine to get a statue outside of Staples Center after they gave one to Magic.
I want a statue.
He's quick to run to the media for everything, so maybe that's why he hasn't got a chance, because you don't play out your grievances with your players in the media.
Right.
Speaking of coaches, did you see the coach last night for Vanderbilt who said he would kill his player after the game?
Yeah.
No punishment going to be handed down. He's not going to be suspended.
I know. Isn't that amazing? That's tolerating. They're tolerating that behavior. That's a beautiful thing.
Vanderbilt's sports programs have had some trouble over the past couple of years. That they're starting to settle some of those cases in that big rape investigation that happened with all the Vanderbilt players.
Right.
There's been some issues down there at Vanderbilt, and you would think that they could draw better players being right there in the heart of Nashville, but and in the SEC for God's sakes, but not so much.
All right, we got to get a break in here in this final hour of the BS Sports Show. First week of this newly revamped BS Sports Show. We're at Mo Radio Show. Mo Time is my new co-host. I'm at Billy Elvis at BS Sports The Fan on Twitter, as always. And we're live at Wrigley Field Bar and Grill every Monday and Friday for this BS Sports Show. We'd love for you to come out and hang out with us and be a part of the show. We'll put you on.
Yeah.
We'll put you on. We'll have fun with you. You want to talk sports? You think you can do this? Join us on Fridays and Mondays at Wrigley Field. The show is every weekday from 7 to 9. A quick Mad Ants update. They're up 39-36 over the Canton Charge on the road at halftime. So Mad Ants clinging to a 3-point lead in a low-scoring game at halftime against the Canton Charge. And I'm trying to find a comment.
Now, if they lose to Canton by 4 points, will she have a point? Say, hey, my 6 points a game would have been the difference in this game.
I did not know he was going to be a bitch. But he's a bitch. Getting the break in. Back in just a couple minutes. It's the BS Sports Show.
Okay, so what do you have?
Ryan, what do you think?
Lollygagging ain't for leaders. They're too busy making plays happen, answering the call, earning their big boy pants. Isn't it time to be the leader you were born to be? The playbook's right there, Captain. What's the call?
We'll have nachos, fried pickles, pretzels, buffalitos, honey barbecue wings, and waters all around.
Grab a seat. The game is on.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Ugh, I hate these big-ass prices.
Sounds like you could use some big-ass savings.
I'd love some big-ass savings.
Kmart Shop Your Way members save 30 cents a gallon.
30 cents a gallon? That's a big-ass discount.
Big-ass discount.
A really big-ass discount.
Really big-ass discount.
Honey, this solves your big-ass problem.
Totally solves my big-ass problem.
Dad, look at that big-ass truck.
And big-ass man.
Hello, big-ass man.
Shop Your Way members get big gas savings. Save 30 cents a gallon when you spend $50 or more at Kmart.
Meet the fuel-efficient Ford Focus. Along with great handling, the Focus also comes with Girls Night Out and Girls Night In and road trips and the scenic route and swimming and weekly car washes and making connections and unexpected speed dating. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more. With so many ands, where will you end up? The fuel-efficient Ford Focus.
This is Gary Snyder from The Gary Snyder Show, and I have a couple of important questions for you. Do you need some extra cash, and do you have any scrap metal laying around? If you answered yes to either question, which we know you did after all, this is Indiana, then you need to give Clark's a call today, 260-356-8314. That's 260-356-8314. Clark's wants all of your scrap metal, broken down appliances, old cars, computer parts, copper, aluminum, and even your old cell phones. If it's scrap and if it's metal, Clark's wants it, and they will pay top dollar for it. Clark's is located at 100 Heightsfield Street in Huntington, and they are open weekdays from 8 to 4:30 p.m. Or just give them a ring, 260-356-8314. That's 260-356-8314. Clark's, they want all of your scrap metal.
Chapman's Brewing Company is Northeast Indiana's newest microbrewery. Located in Angola, Indiana, Chapman's is what it means to be local. Chapman's recently launched their American Ale cider that is a unique combination of malted barley, Cascade hops, and fresh apple juice that appeals to both beer drinkers and cider lovers alike. It is truly more than a beer and more than a cider. 3 sips and you'll understand why we love it too. Visit chapmansbrewing.com for a retailer nearest you.
BS Sports Show.
It gives crappy people a chance to sort themselves out.
Welcome back into the BS Sports Show. Come on, join us. We are live at Wrigley Field Bar and Grill in Georgetown North for the weekend's original starter party, going on over 25 years now. We're going to be here till 9 o'clock. After that, I will be heading over to Bell's Skating Rink in New Haven as they hold a benefit for one of their skaters that tragically passed away earlier this week, Tails, at the age of 20 years old. From 10 to midnight, come out. There's no admission. Just when anything you can give at the door will be appreciated. I also have a bunch of stuff going on during the night from 10 to midnight tonight at Bell's Skating Rink in New Haven. Then back, and then tomorrow, Billy and I will be at the World Arm Wrestling League event at Break and Run starting at 2 o'clock with our buddy Andrew Cobra Rhodes, 17-time World Arm Wrestling Champion. And then Billy will be doing an event tomorrow night for the SPCA. And you can join him out there. And then coming up on Monday, we'll be back here at Wrigley Field again for this BS Sports Show, 7 until 9 o'clock coming up. In the NFL today, some quarterback news. Josh McCown, former Chicago Bear, former a lot of things, but most recently former Chicago Bear quarterback and also former Tampa Bay quarterback, is now a Cleveland Brown. Have we seen the end of the Brian Hoyer area, or has McCown been brought in to more mentor Johnny Manziel? Because it's hard to mentor a guy when you're in a heated quarterback race. I mean, it's hard to mentor. We didn't see it work well with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
Well, at this point in time, McCown brings you somebody that has played a few NFL games, and you're going to need somebody like that on your roster, and they can move forward however they'd like at this point. Maybe Hoyer gone, maybe Manziel gone. I don't think either one of them are gone. I think it's an insurance policy. Then again, when you talk about McCown, now you're talking about Matt Flynn, a guy who parlayed a great performance in one season with one team into a great backup role for the rest of his life.
Well,
Matt Flynn.
He parlayed it into a starting role last year, and like Flynn, except he made it to start for 6 games or whatever.
Yeah.
But Flynn did it off, and this is how this is what worries me about the combine, because you've got general managers and scouts who get so giddy over that stuff. People got giddy over Matt Flynn. One performance, what was it, against the Lions? Wasn't it? Against the Lions
5 TD
in the
performance,
last game of the year,
season finale. Yeah.
Yeah, and they signed Matt Flynn, the Seahawks, to a huge contract.
Well, another thing that comes to mind too at this point in time is, of course you give McCown a chance. I actually thought he'd end up back in Chicago. I really did.
I did too.
Because he was familiar with Forte and Marshall and the receiving core and the offense and everything going on there. Yeah, I know they got a new coach and there's probably going to be some revamping done, but he was familiar with the personnel. A similar situation with LeGarrette Blount going back to New England. I figured that was the only scenario for LeGarrette Blount after he self-destructed in Pittsburgh was nobody's going to give LeGarrette Blount a chance except a team that knows him, and that was the Patriots. So I thought McCown would get a chance to redeem himself in Chicago, especially since, sorry Notre Dame fan, Jimmy Clausen's not the answer.
Jay Cutler's not the answer.
We know Jay Cutler's not the answer, but you've got the whole franchise payroll invested in Jay Cutler, so you're kind of stuck with him. I thought McCown might come back to Chicago. Maybe they were in the mix. Maybe just it worked out to be a better scenario. Maybe McCown thought, hey, I'll have a better shot at being a starter and making some moves in Cleveland. But regardless, it goes back to the situation where you got to have the insurance policies. Matt Hasselbeck being re-signed in Indy, that ends any speculation about the quarterback position. All right, so Ryan Grigson is just all right then and there. Just said, all right, we're done with the quarterback position. We got Andrew Luck, we got Matt Hasselbeck. We're done with that scenario. Now we can address other needs, and that's the whole mindset. You're seeing high-profile NFL veterans getting cut loose, guys like Reggie Bush, guys like Jacoby Jones.
Daryl Dockett today from the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. And that's just so teams can start moving forward. You got to make your moves to have an indicator of what your game plan is going to be moving forward. And part of it is salary cap. Part of it is what are we going to do with that particular position. I mean, it's obvious McCown out in Tampa Bay means, guess what? Jameis Winston's going to be the savior of the Buccaneers franchise next year.
It may be better that he stays in Florida. You brought up Matt Hasselbeck re-signing with the Colts, and one thing we did learn today is that Reggie Wayne did have tricep surgery last week, and he's questioning his desire if he wants to come back and try to play. But the thing that was interesting to me from Jason Cole from Bleacher Report is that the Colts have inquired, and the Bears have made it believe that he's available at trading for Brandon Marshall, which would be quite the trade. Marshall, doesn't have a long time left on his contract in Chicago. They talked about re-signing Hakeem Nicks as their second, but they don't believe that he can do it. So they've explored trading for a guy like Brandon Marshall. Could you imagine that kind of talent if he can stay healthy in Chicago with T.Y. Hilton, or in Indianapolis with T.Y. Hilton, and Andrew Luck already, and those double tight ends, Dwayne Allen and Kobe Fleener this year?
Yeah, that's crazy to think about. And what we brought up with Reggie yesterday, and also with Phil B on Monday is that because the Colts have so much youth, and yes, that youth is going to need to be taken care of. Guys like Andrew Luck is going to get the deserved payday next year after his third year in the league, because that's the way it works. Same thing with Kobe Fleener, same thing with T.Y. Hilton. They've proven themselves. There's going to be some payday issues with the Colts here very, very soon. But that's not now.
No.
Now they have a big, giant salary cap number they can mess with. They can work stuff later. We've seen those guys renegotiate their contracts. I've seen Tom Brady renegotiate his contract over and over again to free up cap space. I've seen Aaron Rodgers renegotiate his contract to free up cap space. I'm not good at math. I don't even want to profess to think that I can even go beyond 2 + 2 = 4 because I'm horrible at math. But these teams that manage the math situation well are the ones that are successful.
You know who never restructured his contract? Peyton Manning. Never restructured his contract.
He hasn't needed to.
But there's talk that he might be willing to do that with the Denver Broncos should they bring back tight end Julius Thomas. If they don't, then Peyton Manning could be on his way out. And it's from everything I've heard, especially from guys like John Clayton and Adam Schefter, is that Julius Thomas is not coming back to the Broncos.
Yeah, but let's backtrack here a little bit. Peyton Manning's contract is the reason he's not a Colt anymore. Peyton Manning's guarantee is the reason he's not a Colt. Well, one of the reasons he's not a Colt anymore.
Right, but let's be honest. One of the best things that could have happened to the Colts. Granted, Peyton Manning had 2.5, 3 amazing seasons in Denver, but do you want to take those and put that sentimental value on that with the Colts and hope so? Or did you want to start planning for the future? And the Colts had the right year to do that. And now if you would have kept Peyton, Reggie Wayne would have no longer been there. And a couple of those other guys that they signed the defensive contracts would have no longer been there. So Peyton, that would have screwed everything up for the Colts because Reggie would have gone bye-bye. You know, it would have been a lot of problems had they kept Peyton Manning.
Yeah, but you remember, though, that was like a $19 million hit that Jim Irsay was going to have to take had he kept Peyton Manning.
Oh, yeah.
So it was more financial than anything that Peyton Manning is a Denver Bronco. Or let me put it more appropriately, that Peyton Manning isn't a Colt anymore. It was financial. It was financial. It wasn't sentiment. It wasn't about what the guy meant to the franchise, especially the Indianapolis version of the franchise of the Indianapolis Colts, that Peyton's gone. It had everything to do with money.
Oh, I agree. And you know, when Peyton came back, people in the crowd who were holding the house that Peyton built, they couldn't have been more right, because without Peyton Manning in Indianapolis, they're probably not in Indianapolis anymore. They're probably in Los Angeles, and that stadium definitely doesn't get built. So it was hard to watch Peyton go away. I mean, don't get me wrong, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, leaving your franchise is never easy. But when you've got a guy in a year like Andrew Luck, who, you know, looked like he had the work ethic of Peyton Manning, didn't have the ego that Peyton had, it made it easy. It made it easy that year. Now, granted, you were still shooting and rolling the dice with Andrew Luck because you didn't know. You never know. It's always a crapshoot. Fan watching that goodbye press conference, I'm not gonna lie to you, I have tears in my eyes. It was hard to watch him go away, but Andrew Luck replacing him sure makes it a little. It's like trading away your older girlfriend for a younger, hotter one with a neck beard.
No, I mean, in retrospect, it couldn't have worked out better for the Colts.
True.
It absolutely couldn't have worked out better for the Colts, and here's why. Because Peyton Manning has as many Super Bowl victories as Andrew Luck does in the years that Peyton Manning has been a Colt. So there's no, Peyton's got 2 Super Bowls now with the Broncos. That didn't happen.
Right, it's true. It's true. And I think that you need fresh blood in there. If you're going to change everything, if you've made that decision, as Jim Irsay, to change your coach, change your general manager, that was the time to do it. And you got a guy like Andy. The Colts almost screwed it up at the end. They started winning at they won 2 games that year and did them both within the last 3 games, and almost gave away that chance to get Andrew Luck.
Stop it.
And now, how dumb does it look now when we look back and go, God, who should the Colts take, Andrew Luck or RG3?
I know. It's so it's such a similarity to Peyton's draft. 1998, when there were actually people going, wow, should the Colts take Ryan Leaf or Peyton Manning?
But that's that overreaction, though, that happens at the combines, and when people start to have a good end of the year, a good bowl game. Dan Patrick actually has the Ryan Leaf Colts jersey that the Colts had made in his man cave right now.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, now if you could redraft the Andrew Luck draft, does Russell Wilson go number 2 now?
2 overall in the draft?
Yeah. A Super Bowl ring.
Well,
then do another.
I mean, maybe. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess that's a no-brainer. I guess the question the Redskins say to themselves, here's a guy that's been to 2 Super Bowls in his first couple of years in the league. Yeah, we want him.
It's funny looking back last year when the Redskins played the Rams, of all the good players that the Rams got when they gave away all those picks to the St. Louis Rams. I mean, Trent Richardson definitely doesn't go number 3 now, does he?
No.
I'm sure the Browns would have screwed that up with RG3.
All right, we're going to get a break in. We got the last half hour of the Friday edition of the BS Sports Show coming your way next. Stick around because we're going to do the grand prizes out here at the weekend starter party at Wrigley Grill. We do every Friday night from 6:30 to 8:30. And we're also out here on Mondays from 7 to 9 doing the BS Sports Show. So if you want to get out, you want to hang, we'd love to meet you. Mondays and Fridays are the nights we're doing the show on the road at Wrigley Field Bar Grill, the port's best damn sports bar. They're going to have the Rousey fight tomorrow night. Yep, UFC action, WWE, and all the great boxing pay-per-views. If Wrigley can't find your game, no one can. That's why they're the best damn sports bar for 25 years in Georgetown North, Wrigley Field Bar and Grill. It's the BS Sports Show.
Okay, so what do you have?
Ryan, what do you think?
Lollygagging ain't for leaders. They're too busy making plays happen, answering the call, earning their big boy pants. Isn't it time to be the leader you were born to be? The playbook's right there, Captain. What's the call?
We'll have nachos, fried pickles, pretzels, buffalitos, honey barbecue wings, and waters all around.
Grab a seat. The game is on.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Ugh, I hate these big-ass prices.
Sounds like you could use some big-ass savings.
I'd love some big-ass savings.
Kmart Shop Your Way members save 30 cents a gallon.
30 cents a gallon? That's a big-ass discount.
Big-ass discount.
A really big-ass discount.
Really big-ass discount.
Honey, this solves your big-ass problem.
Totally solves my big-ass problem.
Dad, look at that big-ass truck.
And big-ass man.
Hello, big-ass man.
Shop Your Way members get big gas savings. Save 30 cents a gallon when you spend $50 or more at Kmart.
Meet the fuel-efficient Ford Focus. Along with great handling, the Focus also comes with Girls Night Out and Girls Night In and road trips and the scenic route and swimming and weekly car washes and making connections and unexpected speed dating. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more. With so many ands, where will you end up? The fuel-efficient Ford Focus.
This is Gary Snyder from The Gary Snyder Show, and I have a couple of important questions for you. Do you need some extra cash, and do you have any scrap metal laying around? If you answered yes to either question, which we know you did after all, this is Indiana, then you need to give Clark's a call today, 260-356-8314. That's 260-356-8314. Clark's wants all of your scrap metal, broken down appliances, old cars, computer parts, copper, aluminum, and even your old cell phones. If it's scrap and if it's metal, Clark's wants it, and they will pay top dollar for it. Clark's is located at 100 Heightsfield Street in Huntington, and they are open weekdays from 8 to 4:30 p.m. Or just give them a ring, 260-356-8314. That's 260-356-8314. Clark's, they want all of your scrap metal.
Chapman's Brewing Company is Northeast Indiana's newest microbrewery. Located in Angola, Indiana, Chapman's is what it means to be local. Chapman's recently launched their American Ale cider that is a unique combination of malted barley, Cascade hops, and fresh apple juice that appeals to both beer drinkers and cider lovers alike. It is truly more than a beer and more than a cider. 3 sips and you'll understand why we love it too. Visit chapmansbrewing.com for a retailer nearest you.
This is a bad show. They worked really hard and it didn't make it good. It's the BS Sports Show.
Welcome back to this BS Sports Show Friday night. We are live at Wrigley Field Bar and Grill in Georgetown North for the weekend starter party. We'll be here until 9 o'clock tonight to the end of the show, and then I will be hustling off to Bell's Skating Rink in New Haven starting at 10 o'clock because they run a benefit for one of their skaters who tragically passed away this week. Tomorrow, we're going to be a bunch of different places, break and run for the World Arm League event. Also, Billy will be doing the event for the SPCA, and he'll be doing that event tomorrow night. And then we will be we'll be out back here Monday. Hopefully a day off Sunday. We'll be back here on Monday. As you listen this weekend to some of the best of from this past week, 7 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday. If you want to be a part of the show, you can. You can do it 347-324-5252. 347-324-5252 is the phone number. You can text us as well. We were talking before the break about some quarterback moves, and also talking about Peyton Manning and his move from the Colts to Denver, and how the Colts lucked out. I mean, let's be honest. Given getting rid of a guy like Peyton Manning, one of the all-time great quarterbacks, a guy who led your franchise to its only Super Bowl since they've been in Indianapolis, that's hard. It was a hard move for Colts fans. I'm sure a hard move for the front office. But when you have a chance to get a guy like Andrew Luck, and again, it's a crapshoot. Let's be honest, it's a crapshoot because you don't have any idea if a guy like Andrew Luck is going to translate his skills from college to the NFL. But if you were going to take a gamble on a guy, that was the guy to do it. And the Colts made that move. And then you see Peyton Manning go and get to another Super Bowl with Denver. You see him set a ton of individual awards for a season, as Peyton Manning did with Denver. And so it made some Colts fans worry. And it made them think that, maybe we made the wrong choice. But I think this performance of Andrew Luck this year, especially when he had defensive linemen in the backfield, it felt like half the time, or when he single-handedly brought the Colts back to win some games and had a pretty good performance in Denver, knocking off Peyton Manning. Now, Andrew Luck, pretty good record against Peyton Manning in those Broncos. 2-1 so far, losing the first game of this season, then winning in the playoffs when it really counted, plus winning Peyton's big return back to Indianapolis last year. Andrew Luck, as far and above, exceeded any kind of expectations you could have had for Andrew Luck. Now, some people were upset, thinking that the Colts should have made it to the Super Bowl last year, and maybe Luck's not the quarterback Manning was by the way they got beat by the New England Patriots. Look, it's his third year. He's only going to continue to get better. He has gotten better and better and better every single year. So why wouldn't we think that Andrew Luck is going to be better next year? Imagine when the Colts start to put more people around him, when the Colts start to build up that defensive line a little bit. Even if they don't get Ndamukong Suh, if they start to build up that defensive line so teams can't just run all over us. If they start to build up that offensive line to the point to where Andrew Luck doesn't have to worry that he's going to be hit after 2 seconds every single time. That'd be nice too, wouldn't it? Not to have to worry about somebody putting you on the ground 2 seconds after you snap the ball. And imagine if the Indianapolis Colts can develop a running game. Andrew Luck set all these records with teams keying on the pass because they knew the Colts weren't going to run the ball, which makes it even more impressive. It makes it impressive like that year when Adrian Peterson was the MVP a few years ago coming off that injury. Teams knew with the quarterback situation in Minnesota, they knew they were handing the ball up to Adrian Peterson. So when you can stack the box and you can still run for as many yards as Adrian Peterson ran for that year, that was amazing. The fact that Andrew Luck last year had the year that he had with no running game was absolutely amazing. So if you're going to pick a quarterback to replace Peyton Manning with, that would be the quarterback and the time to take that chance, and the Colts did it. Was it emotional for Colts fans? Was it hard? Sure. And there's still a fine line drawn there. It's almost like if you live in Chicago, you can like the Cubs or you can like the White Sox. There's a very fine line still with some of those older Colts fans who are very, very loyal to Peyton Manning. They've started to accept Andrew Luck more, but they're very loyal to Peyton Manning. You saw it when Peyton came back. It was emotional. The guy meant a lot to that franchise. A lot, because now that beautiful stadium they play in right now, Lucas Oil Field, is not built if Peyton Manning's not the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts are possibly in Los Angeles if Peyton Manning's not coming to the Indianapolis Colts. A lot of stuff has been done in that city because of Peyton Manning. There's a children's hospital there that bears his name. Manning has and still does a lot of good in Indianapolis. This is no slight to Peyton Manning either as a player or as a person. But if you were going to pick a guy, hand-pick a guy to replace Peyton Manning, you can't go wrong with a guy like Andrew Luck. You just can't. Andrew Luck is a guy that has been absolutely amazing so far in this in the NFL. And again, like I said, you look back last year to what Andrew Luck did when you knew, the teams knew just to key on Andrew Luck because they knew that the Colts weren't going to run the ball. The way they stacked it up, you knew that this was an amazing performance by a quarterback who had to do everything he could to throw the football. Absolutely amazing.
All right. Well, hey, Mo, I got to go. I got to go over here and help Blind Chad and this dude sing Seven Bridges Road by
awesome.
The Eagles.
Glad that you came back from that.
It's a weekend starter. I'm missing my part.
Go do it.
Can you finish this out here?
Let's do it.
I'll be right back.
The Pacers again tonight, as we talked earlier. The Pacers playing a LeBron and Kyrie Irving-less Cavaliers team. You can only play who's in front of you and who's on the court. And another pretty good game by Rodney Stuckey. Well, the good play by Rodney Stuckey this year priced him out of what the Pacers can afford to resign him to next year. Also tomorrow night, don't forget, at Wrigley Field, we will have they'll have the UFC fight. Ronda Rousey tomorrow night. Going to be fighting live on pay-per-view. And if you don't want to spend that money, you can come here and see it at Wrigley Field. Bring some of your friends out here and have a good time at the Ford's Best Damn Sports Bar. Josh McCown, what does it mean as a quarterback for the Browns now? Have we seen the end of Brian Hoyer? Or do we see now a guy who's there to mentor Johnny Manziel? It's really hard, as we talked about earlier, not to be a mentor to a guy you're competing with, to be the starter. It didn't go well in Green Bay for the relationship between Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Now, has the situation worked out for both guys? Well, hell yeah, it has. It's worked out very well for both guys. Brett Favre was a great quarterback. Went on to have success with the Jets and with the Vikings in those last couple of years. But the relationship there, the mentorship, I don't know that it's what Aaron Rodgers expected. Favre was still competing because he wanted to be the starter. And I think maybe that's part of the problem they had there in Cleveland, is that Brian Hoyer didn't want to mentor a guy, A, that he didn't like, and B, a guy that he was competing with. You know, if you're at your job, are you going to buddy and show the guy who's got to place you at your job how to do it to the best of your ability? Probably not. So that's going to be the question now for Cleveland. Is Brian Hoyer on his way out? Or is Brian Hoyer going to be the starter there in Cleveland? And is Josh Calvin brought in to mentor and to teach Johnny Manziel? There are a lot of questions answered at the quarterback position in Cleveland. There's a lot of answers to be had in many positions. What bothers me, if I'm a Cleveland Browns fan right now, is the lack for 2 off seasons so far. Now, we're not to the draft yet or free agency, but the lack of urgency to put better receivers on the field there. Last year, Cleveland knew, the front office knew, that Josh Gordon was probably going to be suspended for the year. Now, the suspension was reduced back to 10 games, but Cleveland knew they were going to have an issue with their number 1 receiver. You're going to go have a chance at Sammy Watkins. Instead, you trade that pick. You pick up a defensive back who had a so-so year, but you have a chance to replace your number 1 receiver last year in draft Sammy Watkins. And when you're prepped to take a quarterback in the first round and you don't replace your receiver needs, when you know that Josh Gordon's going to be suspended for the year, even though it was reduced a little bit. How in the hell, as a front office, do you not go get Sammy Watkins? How do you trade that pick and go get a defensive back? Well, that's because that's what your coach wanted. But if you're going to draft a quarterback in the first round and you have nobody for him to throw to and you expect success, my biggest question in Cleveland is the quarterback position right now. It's what's going on in that front office with GM Ray Farmer for the lack of urgency now to replace the receiving crew. Now, there have been some guys who have been cut today. Brian Hartline was cut from Miami. It looks like what's the cat? Michael will be on his way out.
Yeah.
But Cleveland needs to address their wide receiver needs, and their lack of urgency to do that has bothered me with that Cleveland front office.
You know, there is just absolutely no indication whatsoever that Cleveland is a well-run organization.
No, not at all.
So to be baffled by it, you know, that's your own mistake.
Well, what bothers me even more is that Roger Goodell the other day says that he likes what Jimmy Haslam's doing in Cleveland. It just makes me think he's even more of an idiot than I thought he was.
Roger Goodell doesn't care. Cleveland's still packing the seats. They got the Manziel jersey sales rolling. They've got enough going on with regard to the NFL for them not to consider that to be a problem franchise. Roger Goodell doesn't give a crap if Cleveland's competitive or not. He doesn't. He just wants them to be viable. And viable, are they a money pit, or are they doing all right financially?
Well, you know, and what I thought was going to be more of a problem last year when John Manziel was drafted was he was looked at then as savior of the city of Cleveland, and then LeBron comes home, so, you know, Manziel got a lot of that weight lifted off his shoulders, and then, you know, he still couldn't handle that. I think this kid's ready to implode if this rehab stint doesn't take hold.
I'll tell you what, one of the segues I want to make right now, though, while we're talking about the NFL, is that whole Los Angeles NFL franchise situation. Yeah, it is. And it's starting to make more and more sense. And with the problems that the Oakland Raiders are having, and with the problems that San Diego's had, you know, perennially, even though, you know, who wouldn't want to be in San Diego, California, one of the most beautiful destinations in the United States of America, if not the world.
Qualcomm Stadium is a dump, though.
They've battled. They've had a huge fight going with their own city council with regard to giving you a venue that was worthy of an important city in the NFL and an important city in California. So you combine that with the issues that the Oakland Raiders have had and the San Diego Chargers have had, man, that just makes the most sense on the planet. I heard 2 years ago that there wasn't maybe one, there was maybe two teams vying for L.A. Now I get it. Now I get what that argument was about. It wasn't a fight over Jacksonville and St. Louis over who's going to L.A. It was more about the teams already in California trying to negotiate a situation where they could both benefit, a la the New York Giants and the New York Jets in East Rutherford, New Jersey. I mean, that makes the most sense on the planet. And you know what? California and the NFL is not going to be hurt if San Diego loses the franchise and if Oakland loses the franchise. And yes, I know we all think of John Madden and the great Oakland Raiders. But still, L.A. is an important market. And yes, L.A. is already viable because there's NFL fans already in L.A., even without a franchise. You put two franchises in L.A., you put the Chargers and the Raiders in L.A., and that's tantamount to the same thing you've got with the Giants and Jets in New York.
The problem is, though, you have fans of other NFL teams in L.A. I don't know that that fans in Los Angeles want to cheer for cast-offs of other cities. They've had the Raiders and Rams leave them already. I think if you want to have a viable franchise or two in Los Angeles, you have to start from scratch.
Well, here's what I like. I like what Justin Cohn said. Justin Cohn said it best. Our buddy, our pal from the Journal-Gazette, who was on this show earlier tonight, and we appreciate him being a valued guest of the BS Sports Show. But he's like, you know, LA doesn't need an NFL franchise for the NFL because they've already, like you point out, there's already it's the second biggest market in America. There's already a bunch of NFL fans in LA. They just pick and choose who they're going to be fans of.
Right.
But tell me the merchandise market doesn't skyrocket if you've got the Chargers and the Raiders in that market of LA. The merchandise goes bananas, dude. It goes bananas.
I just think for LA fans to get behind it, you need to start from scratch. You need to give them a team to get behind and grow behind, not somebody else's cast-off. Now, according to Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk, it's depending on who moves to LA, depending on where the stadium is built. If it's built in Carlsbad, it's going to wind up being St. Louis and Oakland, or St. Louis and San Diego. And if it winds up being Inglewood, it'll be San Diego and Oakland. If it's built in Carlsbad and St. Louis moves and San Diego moves, there's talk the Raiders now move to St. Louis to that new outdoor stadium they're trying to build. What the hell?
Yeah, I ultimately don't care.
No, I don't either.
I don't give a crap whatsoever. But I just think it's intriguing to go from no LA teams all these years to a couple LA teams.
Did the bankruptcy, or does the bankruptcy of Detroit worry you that some of the things they might cut as public funding to these stadiums, and the fact that your sports teams could look to move out of the city of Detroit? Because it would scare the hell out of me.
You know, what I've learned over years as being a Detroit sports fan is that, you know, the only money left in Detroit are the guys that own the teams, and they've stepped up, and they've been very blue collar. Guys like Mike Ilitch, who not only owns the Detroit Tigers but also owns the Detroit Red Wings. He has stepped up and helped be one of those front runners, one of those big money guys, one of those multi-billionaires to help support the city where, you know, he's benefited from. And I love that about Mike Ilitch. I love that. I love that he doesn't care that it's, you know, he's spending money in Detroit with the Tigers, and he has for quite some time with the Red Wings, as if it's New York or L.A. And Detroit is not New York or L.A., but he's spent the money that way, and that's a gift back to the city where he's made a lot of money. And I think that's cool of Mike Ilitch to do, and that's just one example. The Red Wings and the Tigers owner. You see the same thing of the Ford family with the Lions. As a matter of fact, the Ford family with the Lions, I don't think they give a crap if they win anything, because they're more about selling cars.
Yeah, you know, the thing about it, though, is what's strange after being at Ford Field last year, after only 12 years, that stadium starts to feel out of date already.
I know.
What do they do next? Do they build a new stadium in Detroit? Do they look to suburbs like it was before in Pontiac? Do they look to one of the other suburbs? What happens when it comes time to put a new stadium up in the city of Detroit?
Well, I mean, the next building that's going to be constructed in Detroit for sports teams is the Red Wings. They're the ones playing in the outdated and the toilet bowl of a building that is Joe Louis Arena, which, you know, it's only 40 years old. It's not Fenway. It's not Wrigley. It's not one of those 100-year-old buildings, but it's way out of date compared to what the buildings are being built today. And when you've got Comerica Park, which is a phenomenal experience for a fan to partake in for the Detroit Tigers, and when you've got the Palace of Auburn Hills, which is an incredible venue for basketball-only venue, and now Ford Field with the Lions, and I argue with you that is still a very great building.
I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying, but due to some newer stadiums that have been built, when you look at Lucas Oil Stadium, then you go to Ford Field, it feels out of date already. But it is, you know, it's 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
But it does feel like it's some updating.
But what we found out in sports is, and that's the problem they're having out there in Oakland right now, dude, is that you can't share a building with another sport.
No, impossible.
You know, football has to be a football building, right, and baseball has to be a baseball building, and basketball has to be a basketball building. Man, the Detroit Pistons played at the Pontiac Silverdome. It was cavernous. It was stupid. It was 7,000 more seats than you need for any basketball venue. I'm even talking Lakers Celtics. You don't need to have a 100,000-seat venue for basketball.
But I got in this debate with somebody the other day, not even a Detroit person, but does it hurt the Pistons, and has it hurt the Pistons over the year, the fact that they don't play in downtown Detroit? Does it hurt them being in the suburbs? Because, let's be honest, the basketball experience a lot of times is looked at as more of an urban crowd, and you're out there in a suburb. Does that hurt the Detroit Pistons with their fan base?
You know, ultimately I say no. Ultimately, we know where the world of major sports is today, Mo. The world of major sports is that high rollers go to the Super Bowl. High rollers go to the NBA Finals. High rollers are courtside for LeBron James games, no matter where they are, whether he plays or not. You know, your Spike Lees and millionaire people. So major sports has never been about the inner city people. They'll get it the best way they can. They'll get it via gifts. They'll get it that you're a special guest of whatever team tonight.
What I'm saying is for Pistons Sixers, you need that normal regular crowd, and does that hurt the Pistons for games that are just the average everyday regular season game for people in Detroit that travel all over?
I don't know. I just got preoccupied by a trashy girl with a dildo on her forehead with her dress hiked up.
Why would you? I never get the heads up on that ever. Thanks.
I'm sorry.
I cover why you sing. I cover why you give stuff away.
Next time I'll let you know.
Crazy.
Hey, that's what happens when you do your show live in a bar or restaurant or anywhere out in public, because it could happen anywhere. It's the BS Sports Show, and each and every weekday from 7 to 9 you'll find us on the air, and every Monday and Friday it's at Wrigley Field Bar and Grill in Georgetown North. We're going to sing soon. We haven't been able to do that. This is an unusual occurrence for you and I tonight. We haven't been able to sing.
Yeah, we'll have to do it quick. We have a busy weekend coming up. After this, I'm heading out to New Haven for a benefit down at the skating rink from 10 to midnight. Tomorrow, big day, we're going to be out at Break and Run for the World Arm Wrestling League event, and then you're going to be doing a fashion show with dogs?
Yeah, it's called Project Runway. Those of you that are into the Project Runway beauty thing, this is the equivalent for dogs, and it's a great benefit to the area. The Allen County Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. So such a cool event for a cool reason, especially for dog lovers. But it does kind of lend itself for some funny stuff. And I spent my whole meeting yesterday with the Allen County SPCA asking what I could and couldn't say. What can I joke about? What can I joke about? I know pet owners are like, you make fun of a pet owner's pet.
Oh, yeah.
That's worse than making fun of somebody's kid.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes.
Are you allowed to talk about a dog's set, or can you not comment about that?
You just got to be careful. I can't do anything that's going to offend a pet owner or any one of the great people involved in the event to benefit the Allen County SPCA. What I can do is that, as soon as a dog takes a dump on the stage, I ask, can I do the same thing? Am I afforded the same privilege to just crap right around the stage like this dog just did? So those kind of things I can make fun.
You think they'll talk back and look back? Man, inviting Billy Evans, he really crapped the bed hosting this thing.
I don't know that I'll ever actually crap on a stage. If it happens, it would probably be inadvertent. My point.
I would hope.
It's like I'm getting ready to intro the next dog, and I go, hang on a second. Hang on 1 second. I got something to take care of. And I drop trowel. And no.
Well, it almost happened to you tonight here at Wrigley Field. You almost dropped trowel on the stage. That happened to me coming back from the White Sox game. I had to throw my underwear away at Denny's outside of Chicago.
You could tell I was in a hurry, though, right? I'm like, dude, let this thing set up because I got to go to the job.
Either that was the best ruse ever and it got me to set everything up.
Maybe. You'll never know. But I really had to go to the job.
Where's the event at tomorrow for the Project Runway?
The Project Runway event is at the Cerrutis, which is adjacent to Lucky Harley Davidson at Illinois Road and I-69. And you can still get tickets if you're a pet lover and you want to see a cool first-time event ever to benefit the Allen County SPCA. Then come on out by all means. Tickets for sale at the door at 6 o'clock tomorrow. That'll be well after you and I head over to Break and Run to see the World Arm Wrestling League tournament with our buddy 17-time champ Cobra Rhodes. That starts tomorrow at about 2 o'clock at Break and Run, Gateway Plaza, Goshen Road.
I think Sunday we actually get a break, and then Monday right back here at Wrigley Field at 7 o'clock.
Yes, indeed. And, I really enjoyed this place. This is my home away from home to start the weekend and now to begin the work week. Hey, and look, the girl that could kick both of our butts at the same time is back. Geisha number 6 from the Fort Wayne Derby girls.
No offense.
We miss you.
Woo.
Hey,
I'd gladly be a cat man any day.
Thank you very much for tuning in. If you're not there now, check out thebsshow.com. We're also on Twitterverse at Mo Radio Show, at Billy Elvis, at BS Sports The Fan. And you can also find Mo Radio Show, Billy Elvis, and the BS Sports Show on Facebook as well. Be safe and have a great weekend, and thank you very much for being a part of the BS Sports Show.